How's it going? Today is 29th of August, Thursday, and we are taking a look at the market, what kind of opportunities we can find. In today's video, let's take a look at fracking. It's something that we have started yesterday. Take a look at energy, and let's try to understand fracking. I have read a little bit about it, but I don't know that much about fracking, so I thought might as well, while I'm trying to learn one or two things about fracking, might as well share that information with others. Let's see what kind of information we might be able to find on internet, since it might be a very controversial subject. As of now, I'm not doing anything other than I'm trying to understand it. So let's try perhaps understand both sides. Both sides would be why it might be feasible and why, as of now, it's very controversial, right? Let's see briefly what information we might be able to find. That would be what is fracking. Fracking is hydraulic fracturing. Is a method used to extract oil and gas from underground rock formations by injecting high pressure fluid to create fractures. In the UK, the use of fracking has been highly controversial and has faced significant opposition due to environmental and safety concerns. The way how I would understand it, you wouldn't know this entire system would be injecting a lot of water or similar process, perhaps pressure water. By injecting it, you would pull, from the way how I understood it, you would pull all the gases, no oils, everything potentially out, right? Potentially then injecting the water, I guess, but it not necessarily needs to be limited to perhaps water, since there's other technologies, and we can touch on different technologies. I know the companies are looking at this subject, right? But overall, let's take a look at history and development. Fracking in the UK began to gain attention in the early 2000s as a potential way to access shale gas reserves, particularly in northern England, such as Lancashire or Yorkshire. The first high-profile fracking operation was conducted by there's the name of the company, but I don't know if it's good, bad, and I'm not supported by the business, right? 2011, near Blackpool, Lancashire, this opportunity was linked to minor earthquakes, leading to temporary suspension of fracking activities. So there's some risk involved, right? So we are progressing to government position and policies. UK's government initial support fracking view it is means to enhance domestic energy security and reduce dependence on imported gas. Strict regulations frameworks were put in place requiring environmental impact assessments and monitoring of seismic activity. 2019, the government placed moratorium on fracking due to concerns about earthquakes and public safety. This effectively banned the practice, as it was deemed that it was not possible to predict the seismic impacts reliably. So there's a lot of issues, right, when it comes to potentially underground air gaps, right, that it might leave, or if you would extract oil, gas, or whatever was underground, there's a lot of air that would be left there, I guess. And that's why things can go, right? But either way, environmental and all public concerns. Seismic activity fracking has limited minor earthquakes, which has heightened public fears about the safety of the practice, water contamination. There was concerns that chemical use in fracking processes could contaminate groundwater supplies. Uh, Greenhouse gas emissions. Critics argue that fracking contribute to methane emissions and all potent greenhouse gases that exacerbates climate change. Landscape and noise pollution. The industrial nature of fracking operations can cause noise, heavy vehicle traffic, and all changes to the landscape, attracting local communities. Right? Economic argument. Proponents argue that fracking could reduce energy costs, create jobs, and boost economy, especially in the regions which are rich in shale gas deposits. Critics counter that the potential economic benefits do not justify environmental risk, particularly as the UK moves towards renewable energy sources. And the next point would be current status. I think it's constantly moving, right? So I don't know if it's banned or these practices are allowed. I know what's happening because this particular sector is constantly moving, right? Either way, let's progress. Future prospects, perhaps that might be important, but as I mentioned, it's constantly moving. And we don't have enough time to cover everything in necessary detail, right? So that would give brief understanding for myself and for others what is happening, right? Myself, I believe that this particular sector is constantly moving, and there's a lot of articles that I managed to find. Example of which that would be previous government, and that would be Prime Minister amidst the fracking ban. So potentially, but energy costs, right, and all the economic opportunities in UK since there's another article that was published in September that the fracking ban lifted. Government announces. But again, I don't know what's happening since, as I mentioned, the sector is constantly moving. Since we are progressing to other announcements after the King's speech, UK's government to double down on oil and gas expansions. So potentially issuing within this announcement is something that happened some time ago. They were taking a look at 2023 and they were looking to continue issuing licenses, right? But I think those licenses would be for different purposes, but that would be for oil and gas extractions, potentially North Sea in particular, but not necessarily would be limited to. But that would be overall economic prosperity and those opportunities, right? So for them, might worth mentioning those. We can briefly touch on US, that would be Texas, and how many rigs and opportunities they do have within Texas, and that would be if a new government will step in, most likely they will be taking a look at energy production, as well as we were taking a look at Europe, and Europe potentially is in demand for cheap energy. So there's a lot of opportunities there. So current climate, they are looking for cheap energy sources. So who would be able to offer those? Seems that US is ready, right? Or at least this particular government that will step in. We will see. But most likely will be able to fulfill this gap, right? I was trying to dig some information when it comes to technology and improvements made when it comes to technology, but not necessarily we would have enough time to take a look at. But there's different technologies, including fracking technologies, where they're taking a look at how it could be done potentially better, I would say. And there's a lot of lawsuits going on, and or potentially, well, it's something that was published 10 days ago. We'd not necessarily be able to take a look at this particular article when it comes to losses, but I believe there might be some improvements made within technology where some of these issues could be addressed, since we were taking a look at why not to do it, right? As well as for fun, I thought it might be worth mentioning about Antarctica, right? And that would be after all the rivalry and all competition between the various countries. One might ask, so at the end of the day, who governs Antarctica? Of all the nations and all political powers who try to take the country territorial claim to Antarctica, didn't seem to come out as a victor. The answer is no. I haven't read this article, so the question that I was looking to find out who potentially owns Antarctica, and I believe that nobody owns it, right? So I thought it might be worth mentioning. Nobody owns it, right? So there might be a lot of opportunities perhaps in the future, if not right now. And to finish on a positive note, perhaps we can take a look at some of the government's announcements, something that was announced today. That will be 2,000 oysters reintroduced into Solent to boost biodiversity and improve water quality. Royal Navy is helping to reintroduce oysters to the Solent after nearly half of the century, thanks to unique projects opposite of there's a potential navy base and they're looking for water quality and perhaps some of the opportunities, but I don't know about fracking in particular, if they would be using very harm chemicals perhaps. Well, I don't know all the details, right? But when it comes to water quality, only water quality, perhaps there are some nature systems, right? In this case, oysters who can potentially clean water, I guess. But again, that's there might be some opportunities, right? My own interest in this case would be price of energy. Can someone reduce price in UK of energy? That's it. How to do it doesn't really matter that much. Sensible approach would be best approach, right? And how to do it, right? So perhaps improve technology and all processes and all renewables might be another way of how to do it, right? Either way, let's close on that. Thanks for watching. See you next one.